Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a live Coleman Had a Dream YouTube show. We're going to be talking about the Dutch game. The outcome of that, obviously, a little bit disappointing in the end, considering how we played, but we're going to talk about that. Also, have a look at the Belgium game as well. So, if you have any questions or comments or anything you would like to say, please chuck them in and get involved, and I will post them up and we'll have a little discussion about them. First of all, thank you to everyone who's going to be watching this live, but also to everyone who's going to be watching this after the fact. Appreciate everyone watching and get involved. If you want to like and subscribe, that would be absolutely fantastic. And you can follow us on all the social media channels, obviously here on YouTube, but also on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, lots and lots of different places. Obviously, you can find everything that we do, blogs included, at colemanhadadream.com. So please get involved. The first thing I'm going to look at is going to be the Dutch game. It was an odd game in many ways. Watched it here with a couple of my couple of pals and a couple of my Dutch friends as well. They were definitely a little bit surprised and disappointed, I think, about their lineup. I think they wanted to see them kind of really go at us and dominate us a little bit. But from our perspective, I thought it was a nice balance of strong defensive unit, but also giving other people an opportunity to kind of get involved in the game. And I thought as the game went on, that kind of happened even more. Ruben Colwell, for example, coming on, I thought had a great game. But also, like we've seen of late, people who aren't starters but do need game time, getting some minutes. And I would say Reece Norrington-Davies, perfect example of that. Someone who played excellently on the night and got those extra minutes, which was fantastic. I think we started a little bit slowly. Kind of didn't particularly get into the game. They started strongly. They were kind of getting the ball in the box quite regularly and quite easily. But I think after an opening 5-10 minutes, we actually grew into the game quite nicely, I thought. And I wouldn't say dominated, but I certainly think we had a strong amount of the ball. I certainly think we kind of did a selection of things well. And I think whilst we weren't creating chance after chance after chance, we definitely looked a threat, especially in turnover possession. Sorry, I thought we looked a real threat. The pace of Dan James and the incisiveness of Brennan Johnson at times as well. So I thought overall the first half I was pretty happy with. I think we had a few half chances here and there, a couple of efforts from Harry Wilson, and I thought again we kind of contributed massively to the game when you consider who we were up against and the circumstances of playing again a kind of mix and match team similar to them. I mean, they still had De Ligt play and De Vrij and looked a very competent outfit, of course, with Weghorst up front as well. He carried a threat, I felt. But as the second half wore on, I think everyone will be kind of disappointed with their first goal. I don't think when Adam Davies came on, I don't think he dealt with this particularly well. I think when you get a hand to something like that, it wasn't right in the corner. I think he should be saving it. But equally, we did this thing similar to what we did actually in the Poland away game, where we kind of got ourselves back in position rather than instantly try and like harry the ball down. We kind of stood and gave the Dutch a little bit too much space and a little bit too much respect. So I was a little bit disappointed with that first goal, and I felt like we could have done better, to be perfectly honest. But overall, at that point, I suppose they had kind of started to grow into the game a little bit. But then that was about it. I thought after they scored, ironically, we completely took charge of the match. I thought we really pushed forward, were a real threat. I think missing a focal point up front was a big thing for us, especially, Noki for more, but also I think our striking options there were people who we want to get on the ball quickly with the ball to their feet. And I think the amount of times we got the ball wide or into a good area to put the ball into the box, we then couldn't kind of do much with it, which is a bit of a shame. But overall, I think I was impressed with how we stuck in the game and kept going and kept digging. Fabulous cross for Reece Norrington-Davies. Great cross. Absolutely unbelievable header. He dominated the guy at the back post there, really kind of taking him over and buried the header. And at that point, I think in a weird way, that might have ended up being the point that would have kept us in the top tier of the Nations League in a way, because it's such a big goal, a point against a team that we kind of weren't expecting. I think would have been a big thing for us, especially if we can go ahead and beat the Poles when they come to Cardiff in September. How are you doing, Giza? Nice to see you, mate. Thank you very much for joining. I think after that, the second goal, I don't know why we were overcommitting for one. I thought we were kind of high up on the break and we didn't necessarily need to be doing that. Left a bit of space, and we've had two opportunities. I think it was Wilson was one and Mepham was the other to clean out De Jong as he was breaking forward, take one for the team, take the yellow card. And then even then, despite all of that, we've kind of recovered, I thought, quite well. We've got bodies back. I think there were three people in the box when the initial cross comes in. And you just think, this is, we're dealing with this. We're doing all right here. Of course, the ball comes in, but no one's actually marking Veghorst. It's a great header. Fair play to him. Can't complain there. Adam Davies can do nothing about it. It's a fantastic header. But I do think that was an avoidable goal, especially when you think that our defensive solidity is something that I think we pride ourselves on a little bit. And I think it was a disappointment from my side that goal wasn't kept out. I think it was an avoidable goal, especially getting back in the game. Like I say, I think 4 points keeps us in this top division of the Nations League, which I think would be good for us in terms of developing ourselves against stronger teams. And it was a shame, really, that point and that opportunity slipped us by. With that said, I think there were bags of positives. I thought Norrington Davis, again, I know he scored the goal, but he was also just generally excellent on the night. I thought he played really, really well. I thought Joe Morel, until he went off with a broken toe, unfortunately, which will keep him out of today's game, I thought he was excellent as well. His work rate was fantastic. He was kind of everywhere. And Dan James, his pace, I thought was fantastic. The threat that he carries, even if his final ball and decision making is not always perfect, I thought he was fantastic with the threat he carried. So yeah, definitely lots of positives to take from the game, I think. Looking ahead to the Belgium game, it's going to be a real tough game. They're obviously on top of their act at the minute. They're playing really, really well. Beat the Poles 6-1 the other day, despite going 1-0 down. Devastating spell of 20 minutes where they've scored 4 goals. Absolutely incredible. It's interesting, I think, as well, that a lot of the other teams, ourselves, maybe to a lesser extent the Poles, but certainly the Dutch are kind of doing a bit of a mix and match in terms of their team selection, giving other people an opportunity. The Belgians really aren't doing that. They're putting everyone into it. De Bruyne, Hazard, Batshuayi, Tielemans, they are absolutely going for these games. So it is going to be very, very difficult, I think. And they've got great strength in depth off the bench as well. So I think it's going to be a really tough game for us. Dries Martin is someone who can definitely get involved off the bench and change the game for them. I'm a big fan of his. So it's going to be a really tough game. Looking at the squad that was released or we've seen today with who's been given a number for tonight, I expect us to go quite strong, to be perfectly honest, especially with Kiefer Moore's absence as well. They play a very similar lineup to us with the 3 at the back, the 2 wing backs, 2 holders, and then 3 players up front who just run riot, generally speaking. I think if they kind of do that and stick with that lineup, I think it's going to be very, very tough for us. But I think there's a lot to be positive about. Giza, thank you very much for commenting, mate. I think we can get something out of the Belgium game. Ever hopeful. I can't disagree with you. I think we always seem to turn up against the Belgians, and I think that's great. I think it's really important as well, given the way they played the other night at 6 goals. But yeah, just to go back to it, I think that our lineup is going to be an interesting one. I think we will have to kind of go for this a bit more because it could get a bit messy otherwise. I think Bale will kind of play through the middle with maybe Johnson off him. I can see Wilson getting some game time kind of in behind as forming a 3 with Allen and one other. I think it's going to be difficult because I think Levitt's going to miss out through injury. I think Morel, like I say, has got a broken toe, so it'll be interesting to see who fills in alongside Allen. I can see Matt Smith being given some game time and an opportunity there. And I think we'll go quite strong at the back as we did against the Dutch the other night. So I think we'll be a bit more closer to our strongest lineup tonight. I think Nico Williams will get some game time again on the left-hand side, potentially ahead of Reece Norrington Davis, who I think might slot into centre-half, left centre-half role potentially. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game, but I think we've got to be much more switched on defensively. We can't concede the sloppy goals that we have done in that Dutch game. I would like to hope as well that the Belgians might rotate a little bit at this point. They've been very strong up until now, so I wonder if this could be their chance to rotate. But I think that's just me being hopeful and optimistic. Agreeing with you there, Giza, that we need to be hopeful. I think it's going to be a tough game for us. As I say, I do think we'll go a bit stronger, but I think we have to be very disciplined defensively. We're not going to have as much of the ball as we would like. I mean, they absolutely dominated against the Dutch the other day. I think I'm just trying to look at my stats here as I'm pulling these up. They had 18 shots, 11 on target, and 66% possession against the Poles, who went 1-0 up, almost twice as many passes with a 90% pass accuracy. Absolutely ridiculous statistics. So it's going to be a very tough game. If we can get a point out of that, I would be obviously absolutely buzzing. I'm not sure whether that's going to happen or not, but you never know. I think I am going to give a score prediction being 1-1. I'm not entirely sure I really believe that that's going to happen, but I think we've got every opportunity if we do go as strong as I expect us to. And I think, yeah, that'll. I think that defensive solidity, as I say, is something that will be really important to us. I agree, Stephen Moore. Great to have you on board, mate. Thanks for the comment. Glad to see Wayne is going to be back in goal. Absolutely. I didn't think Adam Davies had a bad game, to be fair, the other night against the Dutch, but I think Wayne Hennessy has that extra kind of commanding confidence that that Adam Davies perhaps doesn't have, and obviously is used to playing in a unit with those guys as well. So I agree, mate. I'm glad he's back in goal. And I think he'll make a big difference. As I said, I think we'll go strong again. I think Rodden will play at the back. Davis, maybe Norrington Davis, maybe Mepham, depending on how he wants to go with that. But I'd also like to see Wes Burn given some more game time as well. I thought I really enjoyed his contribution against Poland, and maybe he may even get some time further up the field. I don't know, but I think he's a good option to have off the bench, considering how well he played against the Poles. So yeah, I think we've got a good opportunity to go and get a big point tonight. I think a pointer would be a great result, and as I said, if we can beat the Poles when they come back to Cardiff in September, I think we're away. Lastly, just a quick thing, just looking ahead, of course, to the game in the Netherlands on Tuesday next week. Really looking forward to that. Can't wait to see a few people out here, hopefully. I'm going to, well, I've already put out a travel blog, so if anyone's interested, go to colemanhadadream.com and have a look at the travel blog there. Just some hints and tips about getting about, and hopefully save you a few quid and point you in the right direction of some good drinking spots as well. So go to Coleman Had a Dream and look at that. We've also put out our new podcast today. So that's myself and Ruth talking about how we enjoyed last Sunday and our respective days and how very slightly different they were. But yeah, please go and have a look at that. All of that stuff is on colemanhadadream.com. All the links to all our stuff is there. Yeah, lastly, just to kind of mention that game next week. Again, I think it's a good opportunity for Wales to go out and make a difference. And again, I think picking up 1 point somewhere is going to make all the difference when it comes to it in terms of trying to stay in this league against the Poles. I think 4 points, as I say, probably keeps us up as long as the Polish team, the team we beat. I fully expect that the Dutch to continue to rotate and give other people opportunities on Tuesday as well. So I do think there's a good chance for us, especially if we're going to go strong there, I think, which I think we will. It's going to be great. The weather is due to be great out here, which is lovely. You can see I've got a nice little rouge tint already from walking the dog with a red nose this morning. So yeah, it's going to be a great couple of days. So looking forward to hopefully seeing people out here. I was hoping I was seeing if there's going to be any more questions rolling, but it doesn't look like that's the case. But thank you to everyone for joining me today, talking about the Dutch game and also looking ahead to the Belgium game tonight as well. Enjoy the match. I hope everyone who's going has a great time and a couple of light refreshments to keep themselves loose. It promises to be a good game and hopefully a lot of fun. Just again, thank you very much for watching and subscribing. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe us on YouTube, and keep an eye on everything we do at colemanhadadream.com. Thank you very much for listening and watching, ladies and gents. Enjoy your afternoon and enjoy the game tonight. Come on, the Welsh.